All right. We are back to our regular schedule. What's up, everybody? Oh my gosh, I was super excited about kicking it off with this whole spring, summer, school genre that we were going to hit with horror films. And I am 100% glad I chose Willy's Wonderland to start this off because this was a phenomenal movie. Really loved it. But for everybody who are thinking right now, it's like, hey, you were supposed to post this earlier today on Sunday or stuff like that. I'm not sorry. I had a party. I wanted to get ready. I had my stuff to do. Come on, guys. I have a life too. But I also went to see John Wick 4, Chapter 4, and I thought it was pretty good. It had a lot of action. I'm not going to give any spoilers into it, but man, Keanu Reeves just knows how to make really good action movies. And I thought it was a really good way to. I'm not sure if it's like the real end of John Wick. I'm not sure if they're planning anything out after this, but I feel like it was a really good way uh, to get to what he needed to do as John Wick. So I thought it was pretty fun. So yes, I went to go see it, and that took on a lot of other priorities for me because I didn't want to get spoiled, so I had to be there first. But I did have everything ready. Trust me, I watched this movie. I took notes like crazy because it was just really good, and we're gonna be talking about that today. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and hit that theme, and let's go ahead and dive into Nicolas Cage's portrayal in this movie. All right. So we are starting off with Willy's Wonderland, and I'm gonna straight out go into the beginning of the movie. Had me hooked already because we are looking at hearing this creepy happy birthday song and just seeing just like this family's all being happy, but then all of a sudden it turns dark because this family, like these parents, are running away from something and something's attacking them and killing them. And it was a perfect set of mood for this movie to be like, oh, this is creepy. It hit me like, because I always got freaked out with Chuck E. Cheese. Don't get me wrong, Chuck E. Cheese was a great place to go and have fun. And you had the arcades and, the little animatronic, mouse, singing his song. But I always like got a little bit creeped out when I was a kid staring at the animatronic thinking like, that could come alive. And this was like this movie kind of reared its theme off of Five Nights at Freddy. So anybody who's not a gamer, let me fill you in. Five Nights at Freddy is exactly just how this movie is. You accept the difference is that no one's trying to sacrifice you. You are a security guard in the game, and you have to survive 5 nights. And you're in this place called Freddy's, and all the animatronics are moving. So your goal is to survive those 5 nights, and you have to make sure that you lock the doors. You're looking at the security cameras, trying to make sure where Freddy is, which is like the bear, and you start noticing them moving, kind of exactly how this movie was. Like you started kind of seeing these little guys moving, like they were in this room, all of a sudden they're over here, and then you just had to make sure to lock a certain door before he gets there, or call a certain number like that. There's a lot of things you have to do in it, but most of the times you have to survive that time, and this is exactly what it was. They did, of course, add a lot more story into it, like how like how these animatronics started moving, and as well as just the involvement of the whole town, which is something that we will see in most of these like summer horror film themes, is that somehow the town just gets involved to not have them be affected. They would rather have other people be affected. So there's always the rule of like you trust the town people, but you also don't trust the town people because there's at times when the town people say don't go there or why are you going up here? Like when they're giving kind of a wisdom of what not to do, even as a local, you listen. You know for a fact, there's something cooking, so you shouldn't. But sometimes they're like, "Oh, nothing's wrong." Like if when they like, especially here, like, "Oh, nothing's wrong. All you gotta do is clean this place." Then there's something up. Like they know something that they're hiding, and so you just gotta be careful. So, and I'm not saying that all small towns are like this. I'm just saying be precautious. But let's talk about how Nicolas Cage uh, didn't say a dang word this whole movie. And I thought for a second, I thought that the writers just had didn't write any dialogue for him. But when I reviewed a little bit more of the movie and just how it all was created, he actually had a lot of dialogue. Like he was going to be talking, like there was going to be a lot more conversation in his end. But when they handed it over to Nicolas Cage, he gave him the condition. He said, "Okay, this script looks pretty good, but I want my character not to speak. I feel like it would be better if there's no dialogue." And I 100% agree on that. Like he didn't have to say a word, and it was just like you already knew what he was doing. It was it was just phenomenal. So now we get this whole thing where he's now the one who has to be in charge of cleaning, Willy's Wonderland, the abandoned place, and get it ready so that way they can reopen it and all that stuff. And then you have that one girl who was trying to burn it down. So we already know what happened to her family, but later on, I think it's what's funny is that the cop, obviously, like as you watch the movie, you realize why the cop doesn't take the girl to jail. But I feel like because they were already like corrupted in their way, I felt like they would understand why they took, like why she would put the girl in jail while they sorted everything out, right? But I guess she just wanted to chain her to the house, and it was pretty terrible because her friends let her out anyway, and so they all went to go save Nicolas Cage's character, which we never find his name. Like there's no mention of his name. It's just some silent dude, and then the way he gets suckered basically into cleaning is that this one place doesn't take card, which is BS. We know every place now takes card, even podunk towns like that town. And the ATM was somehow broken. Of course, this was all leading for them to send innocent people into here to kind of sacrifice them. But I thought it was just like that's where I was like, this is too coincidental that this is all broken. Like no way would everything be broken. Like there would be some one way of location for me to be able to get some money to pay for my repairs for my car. So that's where I think he was just like, yeah, whatever, like I'll do it. And so he gets on to clean, and it was just actually pretty good because when he starts cleaning, he stuck to the schedule because they told him, hey, make sure you take breaks, and he straight out put his watch on. He's like, okay, I'm gonna start cleaning. He would clean. Once it beeped, he would go on his break, right? And I love that when the moment he enters, you already see all 8 of the characters just standing there, and you see like the one, like I think ostrich it was, just already like moving and like staring when they weren't looking, and so you were like, ooh man, this guy's gonna attack him first. And so he gets his drinks, which I don't know what they look like, energy drinks to me. So, but he had enough to last him through the whole night. And he's actually really, I want to know what liquid he was using to clean, because like everything he cleaned with that just one bottle like made everything look really good. Even at the point when he like was killing the animatronics were attack him and kill him, and all like they didn't have blood, so whatever like mechanical grease would slash everywhere, he would just spray whatever in that bottle, wipe it, and it would be all gone and nice and clean. So I was like, what is he using? And maybe that's just like the adult in me being like, man, he cleaned very well. I would love to see how that worked, maybe that's just me in my 30s being like, I'm more interested in what he's using to clean. But anyway, he gets attacked the first thing, and the funny part is like this person, the ostrich, like scratches him in the face, and then he's just like, that's it, and like he breaks the mop, and then just like murders the bird and rips out like the spinal cord or whatever it was. And you see, like, it's just like, it's animatronics, so it's just a machine part. Bags it like nothing happened, cleans the spot, gets a new shirt, and that's where we're at. Right, like nothing happened. Like, well, I made a mess, let me clean it up, right? And so now he's there. I don't think he was even worried. I think he was just like, yeah, I'm here, I gotta do my job, I'm waiting for my car to get done, because he had a pretty nice car. I'm not a car person, so I'm not gonna tell you what car he had, but it was a pretty nice car. And so I think he just was willing to do what he had to do to get his car, and if that meant surviving whatever was there, he was going to do it. He seemed pretty trained to do it. Now, I have noticed, switching to now the girl who's wanting to rescue him, per se, from these creatures, that a lot of TikTokers are now coming out from the app to movie screens. But I do see that a lot of them, if they're not like the famous ones who have danced and all that stuff, who did like he's no was it no he's not that was it she's all that, oh he's all that, right? Not I don't know her name, Ada Ray or whatever. But other ones that I've seen, like King Batch, and then like this one guy that I forgot his name, so I honestly don't remember names if they're not as important to me. But they're starting off a lot in these horror films. Like King Batch does the babysitters that I believe we have it to watch later on, and so it's great. Like, I guess they have pretty good acting abilities, and here I have nothing to complain about the acting at all. I feel like they all held to the role as just normal, idiot kids wanting to see what's inside or burn whatever's there, like following their friend, and then just getting stuck and dying, basically. So I just thought, like, hey, hands on you guys, right? But I thought it was funny that they went to go save him, but in reality, like, he really didn't need any saving. He was just like, nope, I'm gonna be doing. And every time, it didn't matter what, he still fixed up the place, and that place was just like destroyed, obviously. But I love that when the girl, and I think the girl made it in before them, but when she made it in, she kind of gives them the explanation of what actually happened in the place, and that's where we get the story of how these animatronics actually move, right? Because if I don't really recall how Five Nights at Freddy, like how the animatronics actually moved. I think they were just evil, already possessed. I don't know. But on this one, Willy's Wonderland was actually founded by a serial killer in that town, and being crazy serial killer, he hired people that were as deranged as he was, creating, their cultish group, and they would have like this birthday package that would send people in the back, and then when they had their opportunities, they would start, they would just kill, and that happened for a while until they figured out what was going on. The cops finally caught on, and they cornered or blocked them inside, the building. But when they went to go inside, they realized that they had all committed like mass cult suicide. But it was like a satanic, what do you call those, like ritual or something like that, and that's what allowed them to reanimate or reincarnate or possess the animatronics or the animals that they had costumes for. And so that's just how the story was. And then she explained just exactly how the town got involved, right? Because these creatures would get out of the town and start killing townspeople, towns kids, just going off there. So the town like made a deal with them saying like, look, we'll bring you guys these innocent people, but don't kill any of our people. Like we'll bring you the people. Like we'll feed the beast and we'll bring whoever needs to come and you guys, but just don't kill us. And they made the deal and they were like, okay, cool. And so then they would set up these traps, which he fell into, Nicolas Cage's character fell into the trap, which was just driving in a normal street and all of a sudden you got your tires punched because these other kids stole I don't know what they call, but the nails that the cops use to stop people when they're running away or like driving away. And so they just had all these, they created their system of how to get people suckered in, which of course, like I said, suspicious that he didn't take card or the ATM was broken, because all the times they would be like, well, we have a place that you can pay it off. And then that's how they brought people into Willy's Wonderland. And that included the main girl, and her parents, which is sad. Like she at least survived, but she was like a normal, I would say like 6, 7-year-old. So of course, like her hatred for the place would be big, but yet the town or the cop that like took her in wouldn't allow her to do anything for the safety of their town, which again is just wrong in all ways. Like all these innocent people dying just to save you guys, rather than actually destroying the place or destroying them, right? But luckily, Nicolas Cage was like, I don't care about your story. I'm just gonna continue doing what I need to do. And each time, like he would just keep killing one after one and one, right? So he had already killed 2 when all the kids had arrived, and so there were 6 left. But obviously, when the kids arrived, everything got a little bit worse because now these animatronics can kill the kids, which I thought the way they came inside the house was, I think, a little bit ridiculous. Or not the house, the building, because they were on the roof, and then they all just fell through the roof. So I thought that was for me, that was a bit of a plot hole that I'm like, nah, they could have at least been like, no, let's go and get her and like convince everybody to finally go and save her. But it was just like, no, let's just have them by chance fall through this. But maybe anybody who's like worked in construction can tell me that, like, if a building hasn't had too much care, maybe the ceiling was weak enough for them to fall. But anyway, now they're there, and well, that's when the animatronics have all their good old fun, right? Now they all start dying. Now, I saw how I knew the TikToker was going to die, like, first, like, just the way the scene had portrayed it, but I was not expecting him to get impaled from behind, like that, because I didn't, like, see the knight move or anything. So I thought that caught me off guard. So I was like, dang. But the cool part about this was that all this was happening during Nicolas Cage's break, right? The dude did not like do any deviation to his schedule. Like his schedule was like, I work, or like I clean an hour, I rest for 15 minutes. Like y'all can't bother me. So they tell him he's on his break. So then they start getting killed. And he's just sitting there drinking, playing his game in the back. And then finally when they're about to get, like, almost, I think, like 3 of them are about to get killed, he then comes in and just like murders that one thing, and then murders another one. And he's like, all right, cool. And then my favorite part was, this is how I knew was he was not deviating from his schedule, was like him and the one main chick that her parents died, they are about to go face to face to with one of them, and all of a sudden his watch beeps, and he's like, gives her the knife, and he's like, well, and he leaves her. It's the funniest thing ever because I was like, well, yeah, you came in the wrong time. He went, he took his break, and right before she was gonna get beat, obviously he came in time to save her. But I thought that was hilarious in the part where he's just like, "Well, here's the knife." He's like, like I got my break. I'm out." And I think most of us who have worked in the normal workforce have the tendency to do that. We understand that, and we understand when it gets happened to us, right? Like we're like anybody who's in a call center understands. Like, man, hey buddy, don't go on your break. Like we're getting a lot of calls, and you that buddy just like boop break time, and then just like walks away, and you're like, you jerk, like how dare you? Or you even do that where you're like, oh man, 15 calls in queue, and you're like, oh well, it looks like in my lunchtime, like like you log off and just walk away while everybody's still on fire. That's exactly what this was. It was just like he was just like, oh, we're about, we're gonna beat him up. Oh well, I'm out, right? um, and then after all that, like he comes back, but then yeah, the cop and everybody in the town. Well, not everybody in the town, but at least the ones who were in charge of these sacrifices. So like the owner of the building, the tow guy, and then the sheriff, all deserve to get what they got, and we'll discuss that after the break. So we're gonna take a little break and see you guys in just a bit. All right. So one of the things I thought that was just kind of ridiculous on the part of the kids, and a part maybe I don't know why they had to add it in the screen, but again, it's the U.S. film industry, and they always want to try to add some idiocracy in like in the like sex part of things. So like these one like the one couple, like the black dude and the one, I guess, popular chick or so were like, hey, let's sneak out to do it. And I'm like, well, okay, first, before that all happened, like the guy was freaking out, like, why are we here? We need to get out. I ain't gonna die. But somehow they're in there and they're like, let's do it. Even though like they knew they were in a dangerous area and that they were going to die. Like they could die. They end up dying. I'm not gonna like I'm not gonna spoil it for you guys or I'm gonna spoil it. I really didn't care. They die, and I feel like it just was well deserved because they both discussed the hatred of the location. They discussed the only reason why they were there was because they were gonna help the girl burn it for the story that she's told them and the actual thing that they've noticed with the town. But they're like, you know what? No, let's come here and let's do it. And then in the end, they're like, wait, is there something moving? And then they ended up getting killed, which I was like, yeah, that's fine. But but then Nicolas Cage comes, like after they're dead, of course, and just freaking rips the alligator's and like mouth from like open, just bro. And then that same thing he did with the gorilla, like he like curb stomped it like crazy. Now, for you youngins who don't know what curb stomping is, it's basically it's a term for if you were like ever fighting or anything like that, and you have someone bite, like put their mouth open on the curb, and then you like stomp their head. That's called the curb stomp, and he basically did that with the gorilla. And so like he was like very well trained, but he killed them, and everybody died, but of course the girl, you know. And then the guy that she was liking, he was a very innocent dude. Like I felt bad for him for the fact that he would actually believe he would believe someone so easily. Like that one girl, or the one animatronic that was, I think she was a frog, was like, hey, like I'm really nice. they make fun of me. Like I'm not even supposed to be here. They forced me here, and I'm like, wait, hold up. Like this kid knew the story. He should have like kind of clicked in his head. Like no, there was no way you would have done this because you were nice. Like there was no way you would have joined the cult, um, committed, like done the ritual, committed suicide, and been stuck here the whole time. And like he was too gullible, and so I felt bad because he was a really, like he was like, look, she really likes it, and I'm like, no, he about to die, which he died like really quick. So now we basically have the two main characters, which is Nicolas Cage, who was the sacrifice, and then the girl who survived the original sacrifice, or one of the sacrifices. But of course, everything gets interrupted because the cop comes, the sheriff, and then she gets super mad at Nicolas Cage's character because he was just supposed to die, not to be killing them. And so then the part that I thought was dumb was she's like, I'm sorry, Willy. He's not part of us. Like speaking out loud. And I think like I was just like, no, you deserve to die. Like why are you saying sorry to this like evil person? Like because in all reality, it's an evil person, and that's the same thing of like Chucky, right? Chucky was, if I remember correctly, and we'll see it through here. It was a serial killer who was being chased. I don't know how exactly his ritual actually works, but then he ends up like transferring his spirit into the doll, and that's where all the killings happen. So this kind of was just the same thing. So I just, again, I don't know why this town really was just like, oh, we are so sorry. Like let's serve you guys without like actually like saying like, hey, let's like actually kill it. I know they did describe that they tried to bulldoze it, but the person who was like hired to bulldoze it was then killed, him and his family. So then that's why they got scared. But I think that it could have gone a lot. They could have done a lot more without the animatronics knowing, because the animatronics just stayed in the building. They could have made more plans, but obviously they didn't really care about that. They just wanted to like just feed them. So I thought it was funny that she left him tied up, and and then the girl straight out tells him like, you don't understand. You're not locking him with them. You're locking them with him, which was perfect for the exact thing, because he even being tied up, he was still able to beat and kill two of them, and partially killed two of them, because one of them he cracked the neck, but he didn't like do too much, since she was the one who then crawled out of the garbage bin. But he still was able to do all that with just his hands tied up. So I was just like, yeah. This, I'm like, they had no chance. And you're talking about these people were supposed like as insane as Willy, and so you thought that these people would actually put up a fight. Like they would actually be a lot stronger than what they portrayed. But he came in and he just like beat up a machine like if it was nothing. And so now we have him still, still sticking to his schedule. He cleans up all the blood. He puts all of them in the bag. My favorite part was where he like still bags each and every one of them individually, so you see them counting. Takes it outside, throws it in the trash, and just like waves at the sheriff like, "Hey, I'm still alive." And she's like, "Oh my gosh." I love that. That was a good that was a good part in the script to just say like, hey, like we're gonna like really show the sheriff like you're not messing with me, right? Like, and that was basically him. Like he just walked out like, hello, like you didn't kill me, you know. But then during that whole scenario of her doing that, when she has the other cop take away the girl, Then we got like the turtle who escaped and went to kill the girl, but luckily she fought back and went, like walking back to the place to try to see if she can help him out. But she at least was good enough to beat the one guy who, the turtle who spoke Spanish, right? So they had that. And so now at the end, what I love is that when how the cop dies, because the cop is inside and she's like, Willy, take him, like trying to be like, go after him. And Willy was like, bam, slashes her in half. Like, who are you to tell me what to do? Like, I am the boss here. And then, he starts beating up on Nicolas Cage and then thinks he has won. But then Nicolas Cage, gets up, gets his drinks, puts them in a bag, and then just goes off. And then just like beats him to a pulp. And then like takes it off, and then that's it. That's the ending. Like he just rips out, not the ending of of this yet, but like the ending of Willy. He just rips out the head, and he's just like, all right, cleans everything up still, like phenomenally well. Cleans everything up, and so in comes what I think now, if I'm remembering, it's Tex, which is the owner, comes up, and he's like, okay, I gotta see this guy dead, and they were going to celebrate because now they got his new muscle car and all that stuff. And all of a sudden they look inside and they see that everything is like set up for a birthday. And so when they walk in, he's like walking out like, all right, job's all done. And they're like, holy cow, like this guy actually, beat all these people up. And so they just were like, okay, cool. But this is where we notice that one of them survived-ish, right? Like the one girl. But then she ends up dying in the end anyway because she blows up Tex and the... I really didn't get invested in the tow truck dude, but... and she fills up the car with gas and then just blows all of them up, right? But what I liked about it was that he really... took his time, other than cleaning, he took his time to set aside the kids who died. Like, put them all, like, if he was able to find their bodies, because I think there was one who just got destroyed, but most of them, and then he just kind of, like, covered them up. So I felt like whatever his background was, he had a pretty good respect for, like, the dead. Like, he knew, hey, this had happened, sucks, but he was just like, okay, may you rest in peace. Still cleaned the place, made it look really good. Grabbed his car, gave one look to the one girl, like, hop on in. We're gonna leave this, we're gonna leave this joint. And then the way to finish this movie and to finish it all off as they're driving away, that the one only animatronic that's still alive, which is still the only like Spanish speaking animatronic, gets plumbed by, like, ran over and destroyed by the car. By Nicolas Cage's driving, just hits the gas and then boom, done, and then just drive away. Perfect way to end the movie. They all died. Yes, unfortunately, all the kids died. But again, they were dumb enough to go in there on their own. The girl somehow survived. She was the first one, like, there. I don't know how she escaped the one ferry on that one. I don't know, because she said, okay, I stopped her a bit, but we got to leave. And then he's just like, what are you doing? So I'm not sure how she escaped. Maybe they knew who she was, and so they were like, we're going to play with her a little bit more because we let her survive because she was too much of a kid, even though they had killed all these other kids. But other than that, like, it was just really exciting. Like, the whole time that I was watching the movie, there was no low moment. Even when the story was being told about them, sometimes when movies come up where they have to build up, like, why the reasoning and, like, the story and all that stuff, sometimes the dialogue just gets too much. Like, it can get so long that you're like, oh my gosh, like, okay, I get it, like, just get to the point, right? But this one, like, it was at the point, and so she just kind of filled up, like, okay, this is what happened. Willy's Wonderland, like, this is what happened, and he's just like, yeah, I already killed two. Like, I can kind of guess there's something wrong with this place, but obviously he didn't say anything. But he was just like, like, I bet in his mind it was like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I killed two of the guys that kind of woke up, and so I liked how they just kept it very, like, boom, 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 right? Like, ongoing. There was no moment in time where I was just like, gosh, is it ever gonna get to the point? It was just straight out to keep you on your toes, and then finally end it there. And I just love that they didn't leave it open, right? They didn't create a franchise of, hey, by the way, one of them survived and now they went to a different kid store, and like, they just kept it like that. And I think that's what some other people need to understand, that I know you want to make money, and I say this out loud to writers, and I'm not trying to offend, but I know you want to make money, I know you want to keep writing and all that stuff, but some things don't deserve a sequel, and I feel like this movie plays it out perfect, that I hope they don't make a sequel. Like, I hope there's no Willy's Wonderland 2 or all this and that. I just feel like that's where it needs to remain, and that's exactly how it went. So I hope you guys, when you watch this, I hope you enjoyed it. It was really good, and I applaud Nicolas Cage in portraying it, and I said that multiple times. Again, I'm not going to say sorry because I've already told you how sorry I am when I repeat myself, but I would highly recommend this one, and I feel like this is really good of a kickoff to then end up going out with the rest of our summer theme. So let me look at the schedule again. So we are hitting now our whole summer and school theme. So the next one we'll be watching, so next week, April 2nd, will be The Faculty. So stay tuned for us to review The Faculty and see if it was really scary. I do recall watching it, but I watched it when it came out way long ago, like in the early 2000s. So we will discuss that. But other than that, you guys have a great week.